Hi guys, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Okay guys, I've got an article here for you, and this could be a potential indicator of either the bottom of the market or potential reversal coming up, so let's get into it. XRP weekly new addresses rise 40% with 26,000 new wallets as growth hits 3-month high. Okay, very interesting here. So look, as I was saying, when we look at the market from where we are right now, obviously it's not great, right? And I've said this in a prior video. I said, look, do I think this is over for crypto or anything like that? Absolutely not. I don't think it is at all. But how long is it going to take to get out of this slump that we're in? I don't know. That was the question that I don't have an answer for, right? But what I will say is it's looking like, if we're going by this indicator here, that the worst could possibly be behind us now. Now, does it mean that XRP could drop down to, let's say, $1.90, for example? Yes. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't look like it's going to drop dramatically more from here. So, like, I wouldn't think, XRP is going to drop to like 20 cents, for example. It could be that, between 10 cents or so, this could be like the worst of it now. And we're going to start to move on and obviously build from here, with this being the bottom region, and potentially start to reverse. So again, this isn't no guarantees, but let's go through the article and I'll go through some of the pointers here. Okay, so new wallet creation on the XRP ledger just reached its highest level since March during the final week of June. The increase adds to signs of rising network activity alongside growing institutional adoption and tokenized asset issuance. According to on-chain data shared by Evernorth, about 26,000 new XRP wallets were created in the week ending June 29th. That was up roughly 40% from around 18,400 the previous week. It marked the strongest weekly wallet growth since March and suggests renewed interest in the XRP ecosystem. Notably, new wallet creation trended higher throughout June. Weekly additions rose from 18,100 at the start of the month before dipping to 16,900. They then recovered to 18,400, jumped to 24,400 and reached about 26,000 in the final full week of the month. Evernorth said the surge shows that, quote, on-chain adoption doesn't lie, unquote. The firm suggested the trend could indicate XRP is either in an accumulation phase or entering a broader expansion cycle. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is what I was trying to get at, right? So to me, this is indicating one of two things. It's either the utility that's going on with like tokenization and things like that on the XRP ledger is increasing, which is what's leading to all these new wallets being created, or people are speculating that, we're over the worst of it now, and people are looking at this as a huge buying opportunity. They're thinking, okay, this would seem like it's the worst it's going to get, give or take, a few more cents, etc. But this is pretty much like the lowest it's going to be within this like region. So we might as well start buying from here. Because look, you've got to remember, right? When I say like the bottom, like you'll never buy the bottom and you'll never sell the top. So, if I say this is the bottom now, and it's, let's just say, $1.09, if it goes down to $1.06, well, I'm not going to be perfect, right? But what I'm saying is like this area is pretty much like the bottoming area. So it's not going to be much more, lower from here. Now, again, if this went down to like 50 cents, I would say this was incorrect. Of course, I'd say we've gone down a lot lower, significantly lower. But if it goes down to like, 90 cents, I'd say that's still within that, bottoming region personally. But yes, as I say, getting back to the matter at hand, look, this could be one of two things. People are either seeing this as a huge buying opportunity, or there's a lot of utility going on, which is leading to wallets being created. Either one is good, right? Either one is a positive. And if it is, let's just say, people speculating that this is, the bottom, well, in a way that's good, because that's an indicator that, the worst is over. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to reverse literally like tomorrow, but over time we could start to see now building on this region from here, and we start to go into an uptrend. So it's a good indicator either way, to be honest with you. I would definitely take this as a positive, whichever option it is, because even if it is utility, the fact that that's actually happening is going to be positive for XRP anyway, because that's going to bring value onto the ledger. Also, as this news starts to kind of break into the news more, that more stuff is being tokenized on the XRP ledger, that can add to more speculation, right? And that's more people getting bullish on XRP because they're seeing it's being, adopted. And so that would lead more people to want to invest as well. So either one is going to look to be positive in terms of the impact on XRP. So look, again, I don't know the full answer to this. Obviously, I'm not saying, there's one definitive answer here, but what I'm saying is it's a positive. And, I think in this current climate, you take the positives where you can get them. I do think when I look at this current price range, it would seem that we're at the worst of it. But, guys, I'm not a chart analyst, so I don't like to be here like giving you guys any kind of I don't like to give price predictions because I don't want you guys to be basing any of your monetary decisions off of what I'm saying, right? I'm in no position to give any kind of financial advice. So I don't want to be here saying oh yeah, we're all fine from here. I don't know for sure. I'm just going off of my own research, what I've seen in the past, knowing what XRP was, before we had the bull run in 2024, I'm just going off of past information. So I can't give you anything solid, but I can say that this is quite low for XRP to have gone down this far, because we were almost back to the kind of price ranges where we were before XRP rallied up. I think it was between 50 and 70 cents, I reckon. I think it was before we went up to $3. So, we're not that far off of those kind of prices. So I would think that we wouldn't go that far down. But again, who knows? And this is the other thing I will say that we've got to remember, right? This market at this point, I do believe we're actually at a point now where it's manipulated. I do think we're at that stage now where, we've seen Trump with his antics with the tweets and stuff like that. And then you've got, these people just opening up these huge bets with crypto and making these perfect trades. There's a lot of manipulation going on. So that can also play a factor in this. So there's things that's completely out of our control as well. So even if we do make a call on the market, you don't know if they're going to come in and create a black swan event where they just manipulate the market, right? So it really is just uncertain at this stage. But yeah, the hope is that we are over the worst of it. I would like to think that we are. This is definitely a promising indicator. So it's definitely something to keep our eye on. But yeah, I think this is going to show that hopefully we can start to try and build on this and start to try and get an upward momentum trend. Don't know how long that's going to take, but fingers crossed we can get the ball rolling soon. Analysts do still say that between the end of the year to up to next year, we could have a rally. Whether they're right, I'm not here to back them up. I don't know. I don't know how accurate that is, but I'm hopeful because, like you guys, I'd love this to happen as soon as possible. So I hope they are correct, but this is just the kind of thing that's giving us a positive sign. So I'll leave it there, but fingers crossed we are onto something positive from here on. If you did like this video, please remember to like, comment and subscribe so you can be updated for future XRP content. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be alerted on when I do drop a new video. Thank you very much for watching this, and I'll see you all on the next one.